Happy Labor Day, everybody. Hope y'all feeling good. My name is Haziq Ali. We're going to discuss 10 things that keep smart people. Hold up. Let me change this, man. Last night, I did the leadership myths thing. There we go. How's that? Oh man, and now I know what they about to do. They're gonna they ain't like all that music, so now they're gonna cancel this joint. So, Facebook, I do not own Stevie Wonder's music. You know what I mean? Later on the day though, for anybody that's ever wanted to work with us,
you have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, this is Les Brown.
All right, let's get it. Share this broadcast and everything.
Right, because we're going to bring the millionaire out of you. Just hold on.
Let's get it.
Thank you. Please announce yourself. Welcome to the call, everyone.
All right, we're about to get this party started.
Entry and exit tones are off. All participants are muted.
Yeah, man. If I let the music go too long, what's up, Damon? Good morning, millionaire. K. Nicole in the house. Allie, what's up, Queen? Ashley, you made it in this morning. I love that. I love that. Me too, Desire. Me too. What's up, Felicia? AC in the building. What you gonna do when they come for you? Oh, listen. Anytime Apostle Ray make it, it's gonna be a good morning. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. All facts. All facts. It's coming in, Queen. I'm loving it. Yeah. My man Tank Dizzle in the house. All right, so as promised, I said today, because it's Labor Day, baby. It's Labor Day, and so I was going through a bunch of my pictures and text messages yesterday, and back in 2014, when I was just like about 15 months out of homelessness and whatnot, like back when we started this thing, person after person would be like, yo, how were you able to do that much that quick? Like this whole further, faster with less effort thing is not some just cute term. It's like literally, and then, how much effort I use is debatable because some people say I run like water, right? But to me, it never feels like working. They say if you're doing what you're supposed to do, then you'll never have to work a day in your life. I don't necessarily believe that. But what I do believe is that you got to combine working hard and working smart. And if you go back a couple decades ago, then what you'll find is that man, this cat talking about he on a Zoom, bruh. I'm on I think people be using my calendar like it's a leash for me. Like, bro, I got a whole life, man. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. Hey. So actually what I want to announce too is that starting this upcoming week, we're going to start accepting sponsorship for the morning podcast, sponsorship for the morning training. So if you have a business you want us to help promote and it doesn't clash with what we do, then we're going to work that out. If you want more details on that, make sure you join the email list and we're going to get it out for you. If you've never joined the email list, then all you do is go to wearemillionaireminded.com We are millionaireminded.com. But listen, y'all, years ago, everybody thought there was a simple formula to success, right? It was simple. The higher your IQ, the more successful you were. IQ is intelligence quotient, right? It would measure how smart you were in these different rubrics. But Einstein said something wild. He was like, everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, then you're going to miss it. You know what I mean? So basically, needless to say, judging by IQ turned out to be ridiculous, right? There are all kinds of different intelligences. There are all kinds of different geniuses. One person's really good with kinesthetic genius. Like they understand they've got hand-eye coordination you can't believe. Like baseball players being able to hit a ball that's coming at them 100 miles an hour. That's a genius. And then you have people that are really good with math. You got other people that are really good with rhythm. So studies ended up proving the fact that numerous factors predict success. Things like willpower, things like emotional intelligence, like we talked about last night. And all these other factors are still super underemphasized to this day. So when people tell me like, oh, I want to know how you did it so quick, what's easier for me is if I point out how you don't. I can tell you a bunch of the mistakes people make that keep them from bringing in the stimuli the way they need it, or keep them from having the experiences and getting the data the way they need it. I know that. And so this morning, what I wanted to do is focus on it. I'm going to try to get through all 10 of them because it's Labor Day and you deserve it. And you decided to spend your day off with us. You could be anywhere in the world and you chose to be here with us. I appreciate that. And so what we're going to do is give it up to you the best way we can. I'm going to give you 10 different ways that the smart get stuck in labor instead of leverage. We call this leverage over Labor Day weekend. Later in the day, I'm going to give it to you at 1 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways that you can kind of come and get involved with us. And, if that's something you want to do, if you already have something you focused on, God bless you and go harder at it, but at 1 and 4, I'm going to give it up. But right now, what I want to talk about is these 10 different ways that the smartest people, man, can get stuck and they manage to avoid success like the plague, when really it should be theirs. Success is your birthright. You're the highest form of creation. Like Jim Rohn said, thing about us being top of the food chain is if you don't like how your life is going, you can just change it. You ain't a tree. You know what I mean? You can just change that thing. And so that's what we're here to talk about this morning on Good Morning Millionaire. And so if you're ready for the first one, please give me a number 1 and a share. Give me a number 1 and a share. Let's get busy. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get it. That's right. Leverage over Labor Day. Leverage over Labor Day. That's a fact. Leverage over Labor Day. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So here's the first reason that smart people be messing up. And if this is yours, then I just want you to be like witness. You know what I mean? I want you to pick out the one you're going to work on. Don't try to beat yourself up and change 4 and 5 things at once. If I happen to touch 4 and 5 little soft spots in there, you know what I mean? Just focus on one thing. The principle of Kaizen says that minuscule improvements equal massive transformation. So that's all we need. It's a little minuscule improvement, just a little small iteration, and we're going to be all right. Here's the first one I got for you. They overanalyze. Somebody give me they overanalyze and a share. This is one of the reasons intelligent people underperform. See, intelligence actually works as a stumbling block when you're in social interactions, right? Because the smarter you are, the more capable you have, the more capability you have to over-prepare, right? To overanalyze. And this is one of those areas dumb people actually have an advantage. Dumb people have an advantage over many of y'all because they ain't even aware of the consequences. You get what I'm saying? Like they haven't even thought that far ahead to realize. I think it's Charles Bukowski who said that the problem with the world is that stupid people have all the confidence and smart people have all the doubt. Well, I heard it another way, like God gives all the confidence to the dumb as a consolation prize. See, dumb people, man, they just go in and just talk to people. They stay relaxed and confident because they don't even know they're an idiot. You know what I mean? And then what does this do? This improves their results. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? So how do you solve this? Right? Take one piece of social skills advice at a time. Focus on one thing. Maybe you focus on just improving, executing on it because it avoids information overwhelm. Right? Maybe you just focus on executing before you give yourself too much stuff to think about. We are dying from overthinking, y'all. We're slowly killing ourselves by thinking about everything. Think. You can't even trust the human mind anyway, because it's like a death trap. And what I mean by that is things can only grow or die. Ain't no comfort in the growth zone, and ain't no growth in the comfort zone. So therefore, the comfort zone is where things go to die. But when you're overthinking and your brain is kicking on and becoming a survival mechanism, of course it doesn't want to let you go around that corner right there because it doesn't know what's around that corner. This is why we say the ultimate confidence builder is more knowledge, but that's different from you overthinking. Knowledge means, I mean, what's new? What's new? What do you bring? You're not going to get rich from what you know. You're going to get rich from what you learn. You're already using all your best ideas. How the heck are you going to collect some more ideas if you're scared to bust a move? You ready for number two? Give me a number two and a share. Give me a number two and a share. Here's the second one. Here's the second one I got for you. Smart people rely too much on intelligence. They rely too much on intelligence. This keeps you underperforming because you end up using it as a crutch. They just say, man, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get smarter instead of work on my weaknesses, right? They start to use it as a crutch. And yeah, sometimes it is good to double down on your strengths and delegate your weaknesses out. There's no doubt about that. But if you keep on avoiding these glaring weaknesses, what you're doing is keeping yourself from improving. And the whole key to this thing is improving. Goals are just a target that force you to become a better person. You have to be before you'll do, before you'll have. You have to become, right? We're not dealing with victim physics. You know, y'all hear me say that all the time. We're not dealing with Isaac Newton's version of physics, where a cause and an effect. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Around these parts, the reason we call it millionaire-minded is because we're dealing with quantum physics, which is more talking about creation than predictability. What am I saying? I'm saying you have to decide that you're rich before the money shows up, right? You got to decide that you're a healthy person before the body shows up, right? We create the effect we want. We don't wait on a cause to create the effect in here. But I'm going to tell you something. When you're depending on your intelligence sort of like a crutch, what you do is you put off all the improvement that could enhance and advance your earning opportunities. You end up becoming a cripple. This is a mistake because no matter what job you have, you're going to be interacting with people. Therefore, you should be working on things like your social intelligence. You can't just be dependent on the fact that you're smart and the fact that, like, yeah, you might be a jerk, but all these people need you because they stupid. That's a bad way to live your life. And all you're going to do is be this empty shell surrounded by yes men who are just using you but don't really like you. That's not a play, but that keeps smart people stuck. Can anybody relate to that? Give me a number 3 and a share, because I'm going to tell you what that does. Now that everybody's treating you that way, the next step in that smart person is they start to develop an ego. This is the third thing that keeps people stuck. They start to develop this ego. You ever heard somebody in a certain sport, right? What they'll do is they'll say that this certain sport is the best just because they play it. So this is how people defend intelligence, right? They defend intelligence as the only key to success because they feel like they got a lot of book smarts, right? How come so many smart people are also not rich then? Make that make sense. if being smart is the only key to success, how come you know so many smart people that, like 50 Cent got this quote? He was like, I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did. Think about that for a minute. See, what you're dealing with is a phenomenon that a lot of people never notice kind of rules this world we live in. Ego will overpower their reality. Once you become aware and you tuck that ego away, you'll realize that there's a lot of other factors that help somebody get, like willpower, like fitness. Energy is helpful, and if you're physically fit, you have more energy to endure. You have more power. You have more stamina, right? Here's what I suggest if you want to beat this one, if you want to beat your ego. Go give some advice to somebody who's just like you. Go give some advice to somebody who's just like you. You may find yourself telling them that they need to be nicer to people, and that's what you need to hear. You might find yourself telling them they need to work out more, and that's what you need to do. Go find somebody who's just like you, and then say, what advice would I give them, right? If you're ready for number 4, give me a number 4 and a share. Give me a number 4 and a share, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Ain't that crazy, Mimi? Yeah, it sure will. It sure will. Come on, Queen. Ego is the enemy. I love that. I love that. I love that. Edging God out. I had a homegirl that used to say, everybody got one. Ego, everybody got one. Here's the 4th one I got for you. Smart people have this way of putting theory over practice, and it keeps them stuck. That's the 4th reason I got for you that smart people stay stuck in labor instead of leverage. They put theory over practice, y'all. Now, book smarts are awesome. Book smarts are incredible, right? Ain't nothing like a book. I got so many books. Just right. Remember yesterday I told you I just be having books everywhere. You know what I mean? When's the last time y'all saw this? You know what I mean? How many of y'all have even opened this in the last month? Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all don't, right? But I just got books everywhere. If I just take you a tour around my house, you probably think I'm a lunatic. Book smarts are incredible, but the real world is different. You know what I mean? The real world is different. There's this book called, since we naming a bunch of books, there's this book called Willpower Instinct. The author is this Stanford professor, ill dude, right? But what they discovered, right, is that her theories didn't always work in practice with the students. So over time, she discovered all these other factors that the scientific process hadn't accounted for. And then she was able to shape her teachings a little bit better. That's why I love the idea of intuition. Even men have intuition. And what intuition does is it combines all this data, all this stimuli that you've collected in your subconscious mind when you're barely even thinking about it, and then it compares it with your brain. So it's basically like a combination of your heart and your mind. That's intuition. But a lot of people never use that when they're too smart because they're just stuck in the book. They're just stuck in the theory. What you got to do is have some chutzpah. You got to have, I ain't going to go there. You got to have gumption. There you go. You got to have big old gumption, man, and just decide that you're going to try it out. Hurry up and make some mistakes because you realize that mistakes and improvement are forever linked. If you're ready for number 5, give me a number 5 and a share. I'm just giving them to you real quick. I just want you to think about it. Maybe this applies to you. Maybe it doesn't. You know what I mean? Maybe it doesn't apply to you. Maybe it does. Maybe 3 of them apply and 7 of them don't. But I want you to look for one that you are willing to begin to adjust a little bit in your life. Here's number 5. A lot of the smart people that you know are scared of change. A lot of the smart people you know are scared of change. You know, all the world's top CEOs have embraced this concept of change, right? I mean, if they're a top anything, if they're a number 1 anything, I don't care if you're working out. You know, any physical trainer will tell you, you got to jar different muscle groups out of their stasis. You can't just go in there and do the same exercises every time, or your body's going to get used to them joints and then it's going to stop growing. But I don't care if you're talking about Sam Walton. I don't care if you're talking about Jack Welch. I remember this story about Jack Welch. He was like the CEO of Chrysler. And one of his linemen, he had just taken over Chrysler, did this famous thing. He was only going to take $1 salary, all of this, right? And one of the linemen were like, man, we should just cut the top off one of these joints. Lee Iacocca ain't had no board meeting. He ain't meet with the stockholders. He ain't asked, his inner circle. Man, he said, cut the top off. And then he drove around for a week. And that's how we birthed the convertible. That's what brought Chrysler back, because he wasn't scared of change. You hear me? He realized change is important, because if you don't keep innovating, then your competitors are going to catch up with you. You have to stay vigilant. I said it before, I'll say it again. The reason that machines go obsolete is because they can't change. But you ain't a machine. You ain't a tree. And therefore, you should be embracing change, because I'm going to tell you, change is inevitable. Progress is optional. Can somebody give me that in the comments? Change is inevitable, but progress, growth, that's the part that's optional. You have the ability to change for the worse. Please believe it. And if you don't change with the times, then chances are the times are going to change you into looking like you're worse than you are, when really you just ain't adapting. So what smart people do wrong is a lot of times, instead of taking calculated risks that are worth it, they avoid all risks, which is the real risk. If you're ready for number 6, give me a number 6 and a share. That's a fact. Yeah, that's a whole other chain, shiz. That 300M, that was designed by a black man. You talking about that little baby Bentley. That's crazy. Yeah, that's right. Tell him, Travis. Yeah, progress is optional. Change is inevitable. It's the progress that's optional. Yeah, let him know, Dennis. Let him know, Dennis. All right, here's number 6. This is the 6th problem I got for you about being too smart, right? When you're too smart, you avoid mistakes. Carol Dweck. Man, if you watch no other TED Talk, if you want to throw something on while you preparing your Labor Day cookout for just the people in your house, because you don't want to catch COVID, you know what I mean? Man, the other day, man, I felt so offended. I had on like a full mask, like one of these joints where you look like Bane. Y'all ever seen Bane from Batman? Some of y'all be wearing y'all masks like this. And I heard that was like putting a prophylactic on just your, never mind. Darn it. I shouldn't have said that. Never mind. But what I'm saying, right, is that I'm just gonna skip that whole story. Never mind. But here's what I'm gonna say. Smart people be trying to avoid mistakes, right? Smart people be trying to avoid mistakes. And there's this TED Talk that you might want to throw on, where at the end of the day, Carol Dweck is all about mindset. She wrote this book called Mindset. Bill Gates kind of refers to this one. Bill Gates talks about how facts. No, that wasn't gonna be wisdom seeping out, Allie. That wasn't gonna be wisdom. Anyway, so Bill Gates even recommends this book called Mindset, The Psychology of Success, right? And in this book, she separates sort of like the two types of people in the world with something called fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And the main difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset is that people that have something called a fixed mindset, these people believe that they can't improve. These people did not see mistakes as learning lessons. So what does that tell us? It says do the opposite and you're going to start winning. Do the opposite and you're going to start winning. You know what I mean? Growth mindset is all about the fact that, like, these people, I ain't saying I'm better than them, but I know they're not better than me. Only thing, growth mindset says, only thing that's separating me from their results is a little something they know that I don't. Growth mindset says, if you will adopt the mentality, the character, and the habits of the person, then you'll begin to get their results. Give me number 7 in a share. Give me number 7 in a share. I got a couple more for you about to get out of here. Give me a number 7 in a share. Here's a number 7 that smart people mess up. They start to have an entitlement attitude. They start to have an entitlement attitude. Right? Yeah, I love that, Ashley. I love that, Ashley. That thing cold, right? Boy, you understand your mindset, everything unchanged. All men are created equal, but what they don't do is make equal decisions, right? I don't even know if I don't even know if that's true, man. There's a lot of lies in that Constitution. I don't even know if that's true. I don't even know if all men are created equal. Because I'm gonna tell you something. It's like this joke that Bill Burr tells about how, Hitler wanted to create the master race, right? And so what they did was they gave us a whole triathlon to run just to get free. You know what I mean? And he's like, man, I think we accidentally did that. And Bill Burr is a white comedian. I don't know if all men are created equal. I don't know about that because I feel like adversity makes you stronger. Resistance makes you stronger. And I feel like some people were created in such the lap of luxury that even though you could survive in their world, they could never survive in yours. So I don't know. It's one of those things that I'm not sure about. People say it all the time, but that might be what we call a myth. You hear me? So number 7 is they have an entitlement attitude. They have an entitled attitude. A top pattern that I notice among top achievers I study. Y'all know I do Obsessive Success every Wednesday. We always train it. I'm always listen, I see patterns. Intelligence, some say intelligence is just pattern recognition. And a top pattern that I've seen is that high achievers do not sit around complaining. High achievers do not act like they just deserve it because they're them. They work for it. Among average people, you see the opposite is true. It's a lot of entitlement. They feel entitled to all sorts of things, from food to shelter to tuition to love. You ain't even entitled to respect, right? Ain't that amazing? You got to earn respect. You even have to earn your self-respect. Every time you hit that snooze button, you're losing little bits of your soul. Every time you make a commitment and then you don't keep it, you're breaking off little pieces of the essence of you, which is the godliness, right? Every time you complain, what you're doing is shrinking your self-esteem, right? Because you're playing victim. Try not to complain about anything for 7 days. I dare you. I dare you. Try not to complain about anything for 7 days. I ain't gonna push you to 30 like we've done before as a Millionaire Minded Challenge. But ask yourself, how can I get this? Instead of just saying, I can't get this. Ask yourself, what do I think? Instead of just saying, I don't know, right? Here's number 8. The smart are tempted by too many goals. The smart are tempted by too many goals, y'all. Because they're smart, man, and we're living in this world of the future where we're always stimulated. There's so many shiny objects to chase after. You start to get FOMO, fear of missing out, because if you focus too long on something else might be passing you by. But this is wrong, man. You start to look like that donkey that was trapped between the hay and the lake, right? And then the donkey's like, do I eat or do I drink? Do I eat or do I drink? Do I drink or do I eat? And then he just died, right? When turns out, if he would have just picked one, he had plenty of time to get to the other one next. If he just focused on going to one first, there was plenty of time to do both. But he couldn't decide whether to eat some hay. He couldn't decide whether to drink some water. He was stuck in the middle between them. Analysis paralysis. Millionaires, you don't want to starve to death, right? Here's number 9. They lack emotional intelligence. I mean, how many of you have seen a movie with the classic smart dude, but he's a whole jerk? You know what I mean? He's a whole butthead. Well, that's because he thinks he's so smart. I mean, you see it even with athletes. Y'all ever looked at some of these athletes and you be like, Tiger Woods and a Waffle House waitress, Or you'd be like Mike Tyson and Robin Givens, right? What's going on there? It's because they were so focused on their sport that they never became cool. They were kind of nerdy. So now they're getting turned out by these women. The Waffle House waitress probably going to do, never mind. There I go again. What I'm saying is that one of the key discoveries of the recent century was EQ, right? It doesn't have to do with numbers, right? It doesn't have to do with math. It's about how well you can recognize the emotions of others so that you can better navigate situations. It's how well you can notice the personalities of others so that you can navigate situations. Does that make sense? But to this day, people just sweep EQ under the rug. Most people don't even bother to improve it, right? And then they fail to achieve their potential in all these areas that EQ impacts, like wealth and relationships. And this is the last one I got for you, yo. Number 10 is that they lack social intelligence. They lack social intelligence. So that's a little bit tied into EQ. We can do whole trainings on social intelligence, but that's a little bit different because social intelligence is about you effectively navigating social interactions and conversation. IQ is still overemphasized in this modern world. And so all the smart people think they got the cheat code. But I'm going to tell you something. These summer personalities, man, you might want to learn a little something from them, right? Social intelligence, it's critical to most of our lives. We're navigating with people all the time. People are how you're going to get that big idea done. And this doesn't mean you have to become an extrovert. There are socially skilled introverts as well as extroverts. We broke that down last night. You know, a lot of times introverts have an advantage because of the fact that they listen before they try to solve the problem. I always teach you, if you try to present me the problem before I've even told you, if you try to present me the solution before I've even told you my problem, you're selling, you're begging, right? But if you present your solution after I've shared my problem, well, now you're just helping me out. All I'm saying is you can improve it, millionaire. Put yourself in more social situations in your career. Put yourself in more social situations in your free time. Join an improv class. Get a job that has more social interaction. Be a door-to-door salesman. Be a salesman at all. Be a waiter or a waitress. Reflect on how you could have done better in this interaction, right? And then you're going to improve over time. My man David Shands just dropped a jewel the other day, like he always does. He was like, yo, at the end of the day, if you want to become a better interviewer, because he has like the number 8 podcast on the whole planet for entrepreneurs, right? And these rankings change all the time. But what's wild is that, I'm saying that in case one of y'all go check it, he ain't number 8. But my point is that he's one of the best interviewers I've ever seen. I mean, he's just incredible. And what he said was, you just got to practice more. He's like, I've been doing this morning meetup for years. You know what I mean? He was like, you know, in my personal life, I ask questions to my wife. I ask questions to my family members. He said, go practice asking more questions. Another thing that's going to do for you is it's going to start to raise your social intelligence. There's his Instagram page called, I think it's called People of New York or something like that. And all the dude does is take these real ill portraits of people and then interview them about their stories. It is mind-blowing. But it's also an exercise in social intelligence because you don't know what people are going through. And if you're too smart, you be walking around and don't even care. It's affirmation time, y'all. I hope that was helpful for you this morning. Happy leverage over Labor Day. You know, I'm going to see y'all in a few hours. So if you ain't interested in knowing what we do with our business, you know, how we made the Inc. 5000 in the middle of a pandemic. If you're not interested in finding out how you can survive the next shutdown, I don't know if y'all watching these numbers, but it's going crazy out here. If you're smart, you can see what's coming. Maybe you should put yourself in position to win this time. And if you're interested in doing that, then we'll be back at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., stuff like that. And I'm going to share with you what we do. It might open the door, you know, we'll see. But love y'all, man. It's affirmation time. If the number tries to charge you to call in, just text call me to the same number. Just text call me to 667-776-9461. You do not have to pay the phone company to get your routine on, your morning routine on. We call this a ritual. You get it? You know, RICH, ritual. We're gonna get rich together. All right, here we go. Repeat after me, millionaire. Say it like you mean it. I am